Imagine this. July 13th, 2024. Butler, Pennsylvania. A political rally, loads of energy in the air.
Right.
Then bang. 8 gunshots to shatter everything. Absolute chaos.
Yeah, it is terrifying.
Donald Trump, who was the candidate then, he gets hit in the ear. And tragically, 1 person is killed, 2 others very, very badly hurt.
A chilling moment.
Just
It sent shockwaves, didn't it? Especially with the country already so divided.
Exactly. So today on the deep dive, we're going beyond just that headline moment. Our mission really is to sort of peel back the layers. We're looking at the security failures. How did this even happen? But also the incredible response from local police. You know, the heroes on the ground and the human cost, the families, the survivors, and then the political fallout a year later, which has been, well, pretty surprising in some ways.
Yeah, it has.
We've been digging through everything: Secret Service reports, Senate investigations, talking to victims, reading all the journalism, to really understand how an event that should have been secure wasn't, and what that tells us.
That's right. We're not just recounting facts here. The idea is to unpack the really critical lessons. You'll see how multiple agencies, these are dedicated people, but the system faced what the reports themselves called failures on multiple levels.
Multiple levels.
Yeah, and it exposed these vulnerabilities that, frankly, go way beyond just this one incident in Butler. And we'll also touch on some shifts in perspective that came out of it all. Unexpected ones.
Okay, let's start at the beginning, how this awful day unfolded. We have to talk about the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, and his preparation. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment thing.
No, absolutely not. Chillingly methodical. Sources show him online days before searching things like, how far away was Oswald from Kennedy?
Wow.
And it didn't stop there. A week before the rally, he's doing reconnaissance, basically casing the the Butler Farm Show grounds.
Really planning it out.
Oh, yeah. The day before, July 12th, he's at a rifle range, practicing. Then he shows up at the rally site with an AR-style rifle, a lot of ammo, a drone, a rangefinder, even 2 bombs. The level of planning is just disturbing.
And what's really striking, or maybe frustrating, is how early he was actually seen. An hour before the shots, 5:10 p.m.
An hour.
An officer from Beaver County ESU, they called him AGR Sniper 1, positioned inside the American Glass Research Building, the AGR building, he spots Crooks with a rangefinder. And this local officer, he immediately starts raising the alarm.
Right, and that's the crucial question, isn't it? What happened with that first sighting? AGR Sniper 1 snaps a photo of Crooks at 5:14 p.m.
Okay.
And what happens next is this, well, rapid but kind of broken communication chain. 5:38 p.m. AGR Sniper 1 texts other local snipers about the suspicious kid with the rangefinder.
Okay, so local channels first.
Exactly. Then, just 6 minutes later, 5:44 p.m., the first word gets to the Secret Service via a Pennsylvania State Police sergeant about this suspicious person.
That's only 27 minutes before the shooting.
Yeah.
Cutting it fine.
Very fine. And 5:45 p.m., the first text about Crooks goes out to the USS Terrace counter snipers themselves.
Okay, so some USSS personnel are getting the word now.
Some, yes. Then 5:52 p.m., a be on the lookout email goes out to USS counter snipers. It even included photos of Crooks. So information was moving within certain Secret Service circles.
But maybe not the right circles, or fast enough.
Well, as we'll get into, it didn't reach everyone it absolutely needed to reach. Not in time.
And right in the middle of this, Trump takes the stage around 6:00 p.m., while Crooks is already making his move.
Yeah, at 6:05 p.m., Crooks climbs onto an AC unit, gets up onto the roof of that AGR complex. Then he spends about 6 minutes moving across the connected roofs, getting into position. Calculated.
So calculated. And then 6:11 and 25 seconds p.m., the shots, 3 initial shots.
Yeah. One hits Trump's ear. One tragically kills Comperatore in the crowd. And 2 others, James Copenhaver and David Dutch, are critically wounded.
Just devastating. But in that chaos, the local law enforcement response was immediate, heroic, really.
Absolutely. A Butler Township PD officer actually radioed someone's on the roof at 6:08 p.m. That's before the shots.
Wow, so they knew someone was up there.
Yes. And this officer, he bravely goes up onto the roof himself, comes face to face with Crooks, who points the rifle right at him. The officer just manages to drop back down. Narrow escape, but confirms the threat location.
Incredible bravery. And then other officers stepped up.
Right. A Butler ESU officer sees Crooks' head and shoulders pop up, takes one shot, hits near him, makes Crooks recoil, fall back for a second.
Buys a critical second.
Exactly. That split-second disruption under unbelievable pressure might have been just enough, because within mere seconds, literally seconds, A USSS counter-sniper from the Hercules 1 position takes the fatal shot. Around 6.112 S p.m., Crooks is neutralized.
So incredibly fast response once the shooting started, involving both local police and Secret Service.
Coordinated in the moment, yes. But it was a response to an attack that, well, investigations show should arguably have been stopped before it began.
And in the immediate aftermath, Trump's rushed off, treated at Butler Memorial, Crooks pronounced dead at 6:25 p.m. But like you said, the focus of our deep dive isn't just those frantic moments, it's the systemic issues that led up to them.
Precisely. And the investigations were thorough. The Senate Homeland Security Committee's interim report, it lays it out pretty starkly. Critical failures in planning, communications, intelligence sharing, and resource allocation. It's like a cascade of problems.
Let's break that down. Planning flaws first. The venue itself, chosen for crowd size, right? But they knew it had security challenges.
Knew it. The report even called it indefensible with the resources they actually had assigned. That's a big statement right from the start.
A fundamental issue. And then the AGR, building the shooter's perch, was left outside the secure perimeter. How does that happen?
Well, the report suggests the Secret Service sort of considered it local law enforcement responsibilities, which effectively created this massive blind spot, this obvious high ground that wasn't secured by USSS.
So passing the buck, almost.
It looks like a lack of clear ownership, certainly. And adding to that, the person who actually drew up the security plan, chosen based on rank, not necessarily deep expertise in designing secure sites, that points to maybe a procedural issue, right?
Yep, process over specific expertise. And then this lack of ownership seems to run deeper. USSS advance agents didn't clearly document who was responsible for that outer perimeter.
And investigators got conflicting stories. Multiple USS officials gave, quote, contradictory, opaque, or non-responsive information about who was handling key parts of the plan. It sounds like nobody really had the full picture or felt ultimately responsible for that outer ring.
So if they knew the AGR building was a potential sightline issue, and reports say they did identify that concern,
right,
why wasn't it blocked? They talked about using big trucks or something.
They discussed it, using large vehicles or heavy equipment. But it just didn't happen. The site agent herself admitted there were many vulnerabilities. But knowing and acting are two different things, apparently. It wasn't just a planning miss. It was a failure to act on known risks.
Okay, so major planning gaps. Then comes the communication breakdown. This seems almost unbelievable for a major security operation.
It's pretty shocking, honestly. You had two completely separate command centers. One USSS, one local law enforcement.
Okay.
Located maybe 120 to 300 yards apart. Communicating mostly by cell phone. Seriously. And operating on separate radio channels. Many of the local officers had no idea their urgent radio calls weren't being piped directly in real time to the Secret Service command post. Think about that during an unfolding situation.
That's terrifying. And the most critical piece of information is the sighting of Crooks with the rangefinder an hour before.
That's the killer detail, isn't it? Key USS personnel, the lead advance agent, the site counterpart, they were never told about the suspicious person until after the shots were fired.
Even though other Secret Service agents were looking for him, how is that possible?
It points to a massive internal communication failure. Not just a disconnect, like you said before, it's a chasm. Information wasn't flowing upwards or sideways effectively at all.
And to make post-incident analysis harder, they didn't record their radio traffic.
No recording. The capability was apparently not available at the rally, which is odd. It's pretty standard practice, essential for review, for accountability, for learning. So no unified comm system, no recordings. It hampered everything. Real-time awareness and the ability to learn afterwards.
So planning flaws, communication breakdowns, then you add resource and intelligence gaps on top of that. They actually asked for more counter-drone tech and were denied.
Yep. Requests for extra counter-unmanned aerial systems, CUAS gear, and also for a counter-assault team liaison were denied by USSS headquarters.
Why deny that? Drones are a known threat.
That's a key question the reports raise. And what's worse, the CUAS agent they did have assigned reportedly lacked experience and knowledge about the equipment.
Oh, great.
And the system itself was down, inoperable, for a long time before the shooting. It completely missed Crooks flying his drone over the site earlier.
So they had a system, but it wasn't working, and the operator wasn't fully trained.
Essentially, yes. The agent even had to use a Trump campaign Ethernet cable to try and get it running. Definitely not standard protocol. It just screams lack of preparedness for that specific modern threat.
Unbelievable. So inexperienced operator, broken gear, missed drone intel. And even the intel they did have, like needing counter-snipers because of credible threats, wasn't fully shared with the key planners.
Correct. That specific intel didn't filter through properly.
Yeah.
And just to layer on another issue, the FBI apparently didn't respond to the Secret Service's request for an intelligence related to the event.
It really was just failure on multiple levels, like the acting director said. Planning, comms, resources, intel. Every layer had holes.
Exactly. It created this environment where a tragedy like this became possible, maybe even likely.
Yeah.
The system's only as strong as its weakest link, right? Mm-hmm. And here, there were quite a few weak links.
And the human cost, it's just heartbreaking. Corey Comperatore, the man killed, 50 years old, former fire chief, husband, father.
His sister, Dawn Comperatore Schaefer, said something so powerful to Fox News Digital. You missed Trump, but you got my big brother. Just cuts right through you.
It really does. And his family, they're still searching for answers, feeling there was negligence. They called him the ultimate hero.
Yeah, the pain is immense. Then you have the survivors. James Copenhaver, 75, National Guard vet, hit in the arm, the colon, critical condition.
And he actually caught video of Crooks on the roof beforehand, didn't he? Almost accidentally.
Yeah, an unbelievable, chilling piece of footage. And David Dutch, 58, Marine Corps vet, hit in the abdomen, bullet fragments still in his liver. Both facing these incredibly long, tough recoveries, physical and psychological trauma.
Trump mentioned something about an immigration chart on a screen potentially saving Copenhaver.
He did, yeah. Suggested it might have partially blocked the shooter's view just enough. Small margins in these situations.
But despite everything they've been through, their messages. They're about resilience, right? Focusing on recovery, family, pushing back against conspiracy theories.
Absolutely. David Dutch said it so well. You never know when your time's going to come. Don't dwell in the past. It's too short. Go out there and live life. You never know when it's going to end.
Wow. That's perspective.
It really is.
Yeah.
A testament to their strength, choosing to look forward after something so horrific.
Okay, let's shift to the political side. Because this attack, it absolutely transformed the United States election. No question.
Oh, massively. Initially, though, remember there was that brief moment. Almost felt like unity could happen. President Biden condemned the violence.
Yeah.
Called Trump.
Right, and Trump himself, his first statement was quite different from his usual tone. He said, "It is more important than ever that we stand united."
It was notable.
Yeah.
But it didn't last long, did it? The political instincts kicked back in pretty quickly.
Yeah. Some Republicans, like Senator J.D. Vance, Representative Mike Collins, they immediately started pointing fingers at Biden's rhetoric, saying it created a climate where Trump was seen as someone who had to be stopped at all costs.
It shows just how fast even a shared tragedy gets sucked into the existing political trench warfare.
And the political impact for Trump. Analysts pretty much immediately saw a potential political bump. The timing was key, right before the RNC.
Definitely. That plus the image. You know the one. Trump, fist in the air, blood on his face, the flag behind him. It became this instant, powerful symbol of resilience for his supporters. Very iconic.
It really resonated, and it tapped into that deeper polarization you mentioned, that University of Chicago survey, finding people justifying violence for or against Trump. It's stark.
It shows just how intense and emotional the political divide had become, where violence starts getting rationalized through that partisan lens. Scary stuff.
So after all this, what about accountability? What changes happened? The first big one was the Secret Service director, Kimberly Cheadle, resigning.
Yes, that happened fairly quickly, in July 2024. And her acting successor, Ronald Rowe Jr., he went before Congress and was quite blunt. Called the attempt a failure on multiple levels, took responsibility for the agency. Said he lost a lot of sleep over that CUAS failure, the drone issue.
A public admission. But the reports that followed were pretty scathing. The Senate committee detailed all those critical failures we talked about.
And the independent review panel, they didn't mince words, called the Secret Service bureaucratic, complacent, and static. Ouch. They demanded new leadership, major training overhauls. These weren't gentle suggestions. They were pointing to fundamental systemic problems.
So a year on, are things actually changing? CBS News reported this July that USS is trying to beef up security, military-grade drones, mobile command posts, and 6 people were suspended internally.
Right. It shows they are trying to respond, recognizing the failures, pushing for modernization, because the threats are evolving, drones especially, so the protection has to evolve too. The big question is always implementation, right? Can these changes really take root across such a big agency?
It's a huge challenge. And it's worth remembering, too, the broader security picture is always complicated. Like that arrest the day before Butler, a Sif merchant, alleged plot against government officials.
Yeah, the FBI said it was unrelated to Trump. But then Senate committees started asking questions about how he got into the U.S., sponsored by the FBI under immigration parole.
It just underscores how many different threats and complex intelligence operations agencies are juggling all the time, often unseen.
Exactly. And finally, there's the personal impact on Trump himself. People close to him say he's different now, a year later.
How so?
They describe him as a changed man, more vigilant, maybe more fatalistic, talking about being saved by God for a mission to save our country. It seemed the event had a profound personal effect, according to friends and allies. Another layer to this whole thing.
So pulling it all together, this deep dive really shows a complex mess, doesn't it? Layers of oversight failures, communication just completely breaking down, individual actions, both heroic and tragic, all converging on that one day.
Yeah, from the big picture planning flaws right down to EPT and information not getting passed along in real time. It really highlights how incredibly difficult protecting public figures at these massive events is.
It makes you realize that even with dedicated people trying their best, the scale, the speed, the dynamic nature of these gatherings, it demands constant vigilance, constant adaptation, clear accountability, and communication that is absolutely seamless. The lessons aren't just for the Secret Service.
Not at all. It's for anyone involved in public safety, event security, anywhere.
Which leaves us with a big question, I think. We live in a world full of these mass gatherings, right? And information moves instantly, but it also gets broken, twisted. So how do we make sure that people protecting us have not just the fancy tech, but the smooth communication, the clear responsibilities, the foresight to stop the unthinkable before it happens?
And maybe even bigger. What does a real shared national commitment to safety even look like when we're so politically divided? When every single incident instantly becomes fuel for one side or the other? How do you build trust and effective systems in that environment?
That's the thought to leave people with. How do we bridge those divides for something as fundamental as safety?